Hi, hello, and welcome to the mid-year freakout, the time where you freak out about how much reading you've gotten done or haven't gotten done, and share your thoughts on where you are so far. Everyone is doing the mid-year book freakout tag, and I have some freaking out to do as well. So let's hop into it. Honestly, it's been an amazing reading year for me. I'm just gonna go out and say it. I've read about 70 books since January. A lot of them have been middle grade and graphic novels, but honestly, a lot of them have been novels too. It's insane. How did this happen? I don't know, but it's kind of how I cope with world events. And anyways, that is just where we are. So I have a lot of books that I can pull from to answer these questions, which I guess will work in my favor. Let's talk about it. What is the best book that you have read so far this year? And this will come as no surprise to a lot of you that my answer to this question is Beartown by Fredrik Backman. Oh my gosh, who would have thought that a story about hockey and a small town would make me go as crazy as this book did? But it did. So to put it shortly, this story follows a small town who is having a hockey match and the pressures that lead up to this hockey match and the dynamics between the team and the rest of the town. It's like a in-depth character study and also kind of small town analysis. And it's beautiful and raw, and it made me realize that Fredrik Backman may be one of my favorite authors of all time. So it's beautiful and I love it. It definitely was 5 stars. And honestly, I was not expecting it. So I'm so glad that I did. And thank you, Bob Ross, if you know what I'm talking about. What is the best sequel that you read in 2020? So I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all the sequels that I read in 2020, I did not like any of them very much. I read Heartstopper Volume 2, which I liked, but I didn't think that it had much story in this volume. It was like really cute and sweet, and like I love the whole series, but Volume 2 let me down, so I can't include it as a sequel. And then I also read Hollow City, the sequel in the Miss Peregrine series, and once again, I thought that this was the worst one out of the 3 that I've read so far. It just had too much action and not enough character interaction, and so once again I was disappointed by it. And the only other sequel that I've read this year was Chamber of Secrets, and I don't really want to talk about J.K. Rowling right now, so I don't have a favorite sequel. If you have a series that has a good sequel that you could recommend, then please let me know in the comments below. What is a new release that's come out that you haven't got to yet? So I made a video back in like December talking about new literary fiction releases I was excited for. And one of those was Darling Rose Gold, which instantly grabbed my attention because I thought the cover was so beautiful and amazing, and I haven't read it yet, but I still want to, even though I've heard bad reviews about it, because I feel like a lot of times literary fiction gets bad reviews because people talk about how slow it is, I don't know, blah blah blah. But like for me, like I know that's a part of literary fiction and I actually really like that, so I'm not too turned off by it. Basically, this follows like a mother-daughter relationship that is so toxic and manipulative. Basically, Rose Gold, her entire life, has thought that she has been really sick. She's been in a wheelchair. She's been allergic to everything. She's lived in hospitals, but it turns out Rose Gold wasn't actually sick. Her mother was just a good liar. Well, flash forward, 5 years later, her mother gets out of jail and wants to come home to live with her daughter, her darling Rose Gold. So she does, and the town is shocked by this. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Rose Gold let her mother get back to move in with her. And Rose Gold is just, she's been waiting so long for her mother to get out of jail. I feel like it's going to be some kind of revenge murder thing. I don't know. It sounds a lot like a thriller, or at least aspects of it do. So I'm really interested, and I love books with like good and bad mother-daughter relationships. I think because my relationship with my mom is so good, I like and so important to me, I just love to see how that plays out with other people. And yes, that is the one I am most anticipating. What is a release that you are anticipating for the second half of the year? And while I don't actually know a lot of books that are coming out the second half of the year, like I just haven't heard of them, one that I am absolutely anticipating is Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. I didn't even know this book existed until like a week ago after I read Beartown and started like stalking Fredrik Backman, but honestly, it sounds amazing. It's kind of intense. So Anxious People is the story of these like 8 people who are all showing up to an open house to look at an apartment to potentially buy. And then a bank robber shows up into the apartment and holds them all hostage, and they start spilling all of their deep, dark secrets. I see so much potential to get some really cool, in-depth character analysis from this, which I'm really excited for. And also, it's Fredrik Backman, so I have a feeling it's going to be like raw, and then just like, what the heck? Like, the synopsis says that by the end, the bank robber has to decide if he would rather surrender himself to the police or stay trapped in a room with these 8 unique individuals. The next question is, what is a book this year that disappointed you? So I have had a few 2-star reads this year, and one of them was Song for a Whale by Lynn Kelly. This sounded exactly like the kind of contemporary middle grade novel that would be hard-hitting and lyrical and amazing. It follows our main character who is deaf and has had trouble like connecting with people in her life. So whenever she hears about a whale who is not able to communicate with other whales, she instantly feels a connection with that whale. And so she sets about on a mission to create a device that will be able to allow her to communicate with the whale. It's all about how she makes this invention and then how she's able to come into contact with this whale and how that changes her. But the writing for this story, it was so dry and so disconnected, and I felt like I could never connect to our main character. Honestly, reading this book was a chore, and I knew about 2 chapters in that I just would not be able to connect with this story. And it's so sad because it really is a unique premise, and also it had like these chapters that were written from the whale's perspective, which was so cool. But once again, the writing for me was dry and lifeless. It was very like telling instead of showing, and the characters I just couldn't relate to. There was like a lack of emotion when this should have been a story that made you feel all sorts of emotions. So yeah, I was super disappointed with this little middle grade. The next question is, what is the biggest surprise of 2020? And a lot of you will probably know this book as well. The book that has surprised me most of all this year is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. Wow. I thought this would just be a cute story about a cozy little library, maybe a cat. No, it turned out to be a story about like a secret book cult and learning a lot about technology and coding, written in the most intriguing, unique writing style I have ever heard. It's a book that made me learn so much more, but it was also just a book that was really intelligent and thought-provoking. It made a lot of statements about the future of books in a world that is being governed by technology, and the character was fun. All of the characters were so nicely fleshed out, but I really think it was the writing style, which was just like quirky and intelligent, that made me love the book so much. So yeah, that was my biggest surprise. Right, so next it wants me to tell you my new favorite author. And once again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, or maybe I should just title this video an homage to Fredrik Backman, because once again, I'm pretty sure that I do have a new favorite author, which is saying something, because for a long time I felt like I didn't really have a favorite author. But yeah, I think it's Fredrik Backman because of Beartown. Oh my gosh. Like, do you have a new fictional crush? I think I can answer this. Yeah, okay. So I feel like whenever I have read through Jane Austen's novels in the past, Mr. Darcy has always really stuck out to me. And then also Mr. Rochester from Jane Eyre is one of my favorite fictional crushes of all time. Also Ronald Weasley. But this year I read Emma with the Top Shelf Society, which is my book club. You can check it out. And I discovered or rediscovered Mr. Knightley, and I loved him because he is just so loyal and good. He works so hard, and his love for Emma doesn't allow him to also accept her nonsense, which I appreciate. And yeah, I think Mr. Knightley just represents like a true upstanding gentleman, and that's very admirable to me. So he can be my new crush. And then the next question asks, do you have a new favorite fictional character? My new favorite fictional character is going to have to be Stargirl from Stargirl. I had never read this book before somehow until this year, and I am obsessed with this little nonconformist, kind, considerate, beautiful human who the rest of the world just kind of smashes down. I love her and I want to be her best friend. So yeah, Stargirl is my new favorite fictional character. And next, it wants me to tell you a book that made me cry. So we're going to talk about the book that brought me to catharsis this year, which was The Book of Lost Names, which is a historical fiction novel. I feel like I've talked so much about this as well. But The Book of Lost Names made me cry because the characters get this ending that is just so deserved, and I did not expect it at all. A lot of it had to do with like their romance and things that happened to them, and it's so beautiful and they deserved it so much. And I'm gonna try not to cry again, but I don't know if I'll be able to stop myself. I'm an emotional wreck. The next question is, name a book that made you happy this year. I had a lot. I read the Anne of Green Gables graphic novel, which I enjoyed. The Little Prince made me smile and be kind of sad at the same time. But I'm going to talk about Geekerella by Ashley Poston. I know I'm late to the game, but this book is just so gosh darn cute, especially if you're a person who belongs to a fandom. You can relate so much to this story. It's a retelling of Cinderella that follows this girl who's obsessed with a fandom, writes fan fiction, and then meets and falls in love with the guy who's playing her favorite character in the movie. It's amazing and beautiful. I love it so much, and it makes me laugh, and it's just a quirky comfort read that I enjoyed, and I think anyone could. Okay, the next question is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought this year? This was hard because I like a lot of different styles in books, but I think I'm going to go with Lovely War by Julie Berry because the soft pinks are so beautiful. I love the little Eiffel Tower thing going on, and it's just so like moody and beautiful, and it seems kind of like exquisite and sophisticated, and I love all that jazz. And yes, I feel like if this is an indication of what the book is going to be like, I'm going to love it so much. And lastly, time to spill the tea, I guess. It asks, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I already showed you guys all of my unread books that I own, and you can find that up here. Oh gosh, there was like 50. So I could tell you all of those again, but I'll just let you watch the video. There are a few I'm prioritizing. The first one, of course, is just the Top Shelf Society book club for the month of June. So we are reading Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. So you guys voted for Black Girl Unlimited to be our winner, and I'm so glad that you did. It's not like a traditional classic, but I'm so happy to be amplifying Black voices during this time and forever. And this one seems really interesting and outside of what I normally read. So, okay, I think it's like an urban fantasy type memoir type of thing that follows our main character, Echo Brown, who is also the author, who is also a witch in New York City, who fights evil with her magic and the help of a mentor teacher. It sounds like it's going to be so fun, so powerful, really creative. I think it'll be like just a hoot. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. Also, I want to read all of Fredrik Backman's books. I really want to read Villette by Charlotte Bronte. Like, I've just been craving like a big, long, chunky classic novel. So I'm hoping to read that one soon. Lovely War is probably going to be one of my best books of the year, and I still haven't read it yet, so I need to. I need to read White Fragility to finish up the Blackout Buddy read, and that is going to be very soon. And also, You Should See Me in a Crown. I'm reading for the Blackathon. So yeah, a lot of books to read soon, and then all of my unread books just leaves me with a lot that needs to be read. But I'll get there. Hopefully. Hopefully we all will. And there you have it. If you like this video, be sure that you hit the like button. In the comments below, let me know your answers to these questions. What books do you still have to read this year, or what was your favorite book that you've read so far this year? If you've done the mid-year book freakout tag, please let me know, because I'd love to watch your video and see your answers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, and sometimes Mondays when I have no chill. All right, bookflowers, that's going to be it for now. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.